The conference room fell into complete silence as 34-year-old Elias Carter, a widowed single father with calm brown eyes and worn work shoes, quietly closed his notebook after hearing the words that everyone else feared. Bright morning sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the downtown office tower, making the polished table gleam while dozens of employees stared at him. The powerful CEO, Vanessa Harrington, believed every worker would eventually bow to her demands. She expected fear. She expected excuses. She expected another apology. Instead, Elias simply stood, folded his company badge into his hand, and began placing his belongings into a small canvas bag with the same steady expression he had worn every morning for the last 6 years. Nobody breathed. Nobody moved. They all realized they were witnessing something that would change far more than one man's career. Before we continue, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that quiet courage can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Little Kindness Tales. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories every week. For years, Elias had been known as the invisible hero of Harrington Technologies. He arrived before sunrise every workday after preparing breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Their tiny rented apartment was filled with simple furniture, second-hand books, and photographs of Lily's late mother, who had passed away after a long illness. Every morning sunlight streamed through their kitchen window while Elias carefully braided Lily's hair, packed her lunch, and reminded her that kindness was always stronger than pride. Money was always tight, yet their little home was rich with laughter, handwritten notes on the refrigerator, and dreams that refused to disappear. Elias never complained because he believed that gratitude gave people strength when life offered little comfort. At work, however, life was becoming harder each month. Vanessa Harrington had built the company into a successful business, but somewhere along the journey she had confused authority with respect. She demanded longer hours, canceled vacations without warning, and measured employees only by numbers on spreadsheets instead of the lives behind those numbers. Parents missed birthdays. Caregivers missed medical appointments. Many silently accepted the pressure because they feared unemployment. Elias endured everything with patience because Lily depended on him, but every difficult day quietly tested the promises he had made to himself after losing his wife. He had promised that no job would ever take away the time his daughter deserved. One bright Tuesday morning, the executive team announced a mandatory policy requiring every employee to remain in the office until late evening indefinitely. There would be no exceptions, not even for parents with young children. The announcement spread through every department like a heavy storm cloud despite the clear blue sky outside. Faces filled with worry. Phones remained untouched. Conversations disappeared. Everyone knew the policy would break families, yet nobody dared challenge it. When Elias respectfully explained that he needed to leave each afternoon to collect Lily from school because she had no one else, the room grew tense. Vanessa dismissed his explanation without hesitation and made her unforgettable demand. She insisted that loyalty meant sacrifice and declared that anyone unwilling to obey could leave immediately. Many employees lowered their heads, expecting Elias to surrender like everyone else had done before. Instead, he calmly packed his notebook, family photograph, coffee mug, and worn fountain pen into his old canvas bag. His movements were slow, peaceful, and completely free of anger. The silence became almost unbearable. Some co-workers felt tears forming because they understood what his decision would cost him. Others admired the quiet dignity they wished they possessed themselves. Elias thanked everyone for the years they had shared together, wished them success, and walked out of the building beneath the bright afternoon sun without looking back. No dramatic speech. No argument. No bitterness. Just quiet self-respect. That evening, he walked hand in hand with Lily through a neighborhood park filled with children playing beneath green trees. She noticed the thoughtful expression on her father's face and gently asked whether everything was all right. Elias smiled warmly and admitted that he no longer worked at the company. Before he could explain further, Lily squeezed his hand and told him she would rather have her father beside her than have a bigger apartment or more expensive toys. Her innocent words erased every trace of doubt that had remained in his heart. The following weeks were difficult. Bills accumulated on the kitchen table. Elias searched for work every morning after taking Lily to school. He delivered packages, repaired neighbors' furniture, and accepted temporary jobs whenever possible. Although exhaustion often followed him home, he never allowed Lily to see hopelessness. Together they still read library books in the afternoon sunshine, planted flowers outside their apartment, and celebrated small victories with homemade pancakes. Their happiness became proof that love could survive where wealth could not. Meanwhile, Harrington Technologies slowly began to change in unexpected ways. Deadlines were missed. Projects became disorganized. Clients complained about declining quality. Managers eventually realized that Elias had quietly solved countless problems no one else had noticed. He had trained new employees without asking for recognition, fixed complicated systems before they failed, and earned customers' trust through honesty rather than promises. His absence created a gap that expensive consultants could not fill. One afternoon, a major international client canceled an important partnership after weeks of unresolved technical issues. The company lost millions. Shareholders demanded answers. Vanessa became frustrated, believing the problems were caused by laziness, yet every investigation revealed the same conclusion. The systems Elias had maintained were failing because no one understood them as completely as he had. Curious for the first time, Vanessa opened Elias's personnel file expecting to find an average employee. Instead, she discovered years of outstanding performance reviews, dozens of thank you letters from clients, and handwritten appreciation notes from coworkers describing how he had quietly helped them during family emergencies, covered extra shifts without complaint, and donated vacation days to struggling colleagues. One letter simply read that Elias never tried to become the most important person in the room. He simply tried to become the most dependable. Those words stayed with Vanessa long after the office emptied. For the first time in many years, she drove through the city during a peaceful afternoon without thinking about profits. She noticed parents waiting outside schools, children laughing in parks, and families sharing ordinary moments that no business success could replace. Gradually she realized that somewhere along her own journey she had stopped seeing people as human beings. Determined to understand more, Vanessa quietly visited the neighborhood where Elias lived. She expected resentment or bitterness. Instead, she saw him helping an elderly neighbor repair a broken fence while Lily watered colorful flowers nearby. Despite his uncertain future, he smiled with genuine contentment. Several neighbors greeted him warmly, describing countless acts of kindness he had performed without expecting anything in return. Vanessa stood quietly across the street, realizing that true leadership looked nothing like power. It looked like service. The next morning she invited every department manager into the same conference room where Elias had packed his bag weeks earlier. This time the bright daylight entering through the windows felt different. Instead of delivering another command, she admitted her mistakes openly. Many employees could hardly believe what they were hearing. She announced flexible schedules for parents, expanded family leave, employee wellness programs, and a new commitment to treat every worker with dignity rather than fear. Her biggest challenge remained. She personally visited Elias's apartment that afternoon. When the door opened, there was no anger on Elias's face, only quiet surprise. Vanessa sincerely apologized for the pain her decisions had caused. She admitted that she had confused control with leadership and thanked him for teaching her a lesson no business school ever had. Rather than offering money first, she offered respect. Elias listened carefully. Forgiveness did not come instantly because trust required time. Yet he believed Lily had been right all along. Kindness could create second chances where pride only created distance. Several days later, Elias accepted a very different role within the company. He returned not as someone who had surrendered, but as Director of Employee Development, helping build a healthier workplace where compassion became part of every decision. Employees welcomed him with standing applause. Many quietly wiped away tears because they understood that courage had finally been rewarded. Over the following year, Harrington Technologies transformed completely. Productivity increased because employees felt valued instead of threatened. Families grew stronger. Customer satisfaction reached record levels. The company earned recognition not only for financial success but also for creating one of the most supportive workplaces in the region. Most importantly, every afternoon, Elias still left work on time. He walked beneath the warm daylight to Lily's school, where she always ran toward him with the same joyful smile. No promotion, paycheck, or title ever compared to those precious moments. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that kindness, integrity, and family are worth protecting, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to Little Kindness Tales for more inspiring stories. Before this story ends, please leave a comment and tell us, what would you have done if you were in Elias's place? Your words may encourage someone reading them today. As father and daughter walked home beneath the clear afternoon sky, surrounded by blooming trees and hopeful smiles, Elias realized that the greatest victories are rarely won by the loudest voices. They belong to those who quietly choose character over comfort, love over fear, and dignity over compromise. And sometimes, the moment the world thinks you are walking away from everything is actually the moment you begin walking toward the life you were always meant to live.